Hi, this is Sebastian, and welcome to the Fire Belgium show. In this episode, I have a conversation with Jenny, who basically doubled her income in the past 6 months. So, in this interview, she shares her strategies to increase her visibility and credibility, and how that helps her with her business and career. She shares her strategies on how to network with the right people and how to use LinkedIn in the right way to achieve those results. Jenny started as an employee with big dreams of one day running her own company or working for herself. She actually took fairly big and bold steps to put herself in the right position, in the right place to learn about how to run a business, how to start a freelancing activity, and go from there. I have always admired people who put themselves in this position and basically decide to take full control of their destiny by not relying on regular employment, but by trying to make things work their own way. I find that quite inspiring and intimidating as someone who's not used to doing that sort of thing. Today, Jenny is an online marketing expert, and she helps companies increase their visibility and credibility online. She's also a trainer for freelancers who want to learn how to use LinkedIn more effectively so that they can land business even if they don't like selling. And finally, Jenny is the awesome community manager behind Freelancers in Belgium, which is a Facebook group, but also a nonprofit organization called Freelance Forward. And she organizes events and facilitates and essentially empowers freelance to do more of what they love to do in a better way. To know more about Jenny and her work, just check the links in the description. All right, let's get started with the conversation. Right, so Jenny, thanks for joining. As I said in the intro, I would love to hear a bit about your journey because you've started in a very simple way. I would say you were an employee one day, and then things changed. And I'd love to hear from you. Like where you were, what happened, and what changed.
Okay, so I'm originally from Finland, and I think I got interested in entrepreneurship already at the ripe age of 13 when I started high school in Finland, and there were some topics that you could elect, and then I just went for business immediately and entrepreneurship, and enjoyed the subjects a lot. And I also there's some like personality test things that you can do. One question is, what section in newspapers do you enjoy the most? And for some weird reason, my favorite section was vacancies, to read about vacancies.
All right. Okay. Why is that?
I'm always interested in what makes people tick, what makes people do stuff. And vacancies are, it's a mix of HR and marketing, and I'm always curious about different professions. So that's why running the freelancer community is really, it's like a sandbox for me where I can play around and learn about what other people are doing. But so my parents are also entrepreneurs. My father, he did construction, concrete flooring, very hard work, and my mom used to run an antique shop. So I've grown up in a very entrepreneurial family, and I always wanted to have a business myself, but I only started doing that about 3 years ago. What happened was I was working in all kinds of different jobs. I was also helping my father out at the construction sites. I was bringing lunch to my mom as a school job. I was working in factories. I was working as a teacher. I was working doing those surveys, very well paid, but really horrible job.
Yeah.
And then I also worked a lot in customer service, and that helped me actually get the job that I came to Belgium for. So about 10 years ago, I came to Belgium. I was applying for a job to do logistics service for a big logistics company. I was like, okay, let's apply. And then it turned out that it was Volvo Trucks. And the job was about helping truck drivers in need. So I thought, okay, if I can learn this, I can learn anything. And I stayed there for 5 years. It was very well paid and I got a lot of time off. So next to working, I traveled a lot and I also studied. I got my degree in the science of learning in a university in Sweden, and I never stepped inside of it.
Oh, wait, so you studied remotely?
Yes.
You mean you didn't step in the university or in the learning?
I didn't step into the university building ever. So I did that completely online. I wrote my thesis with a woman from Lapland whom I still never met live.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And
that's the day we're living. That's the age we're living in, right?
Indeed. But this was
you guys are ahead for sure.
This was about 5 years ago. So yeah, I think I'm probably the first and probably the only ever person living in Belgium that has done something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was working at Volvo, and then I got a phone call from my cousin who lives in Ireland, and she said, Jenny, I want to start a business, but I don't have time. Can you come and do it for me?
Oh, wow. So it's really in the family, right?
Yeah. So then I thought, okay, then I had my job here, I had my partner, and I was thinking the amount of butterflies of excitement that I had in my belly was definitely a sign that I have to do this. So I said yes. And I thought, okay, I don't know what kind of business I want to start, but I definitely know I want to start something eventually. So this is a perfect way to do an internship and earn a little bit of money while learning the job. So
wait, so you quit your job at Volvo?
Yeah.
So like a high paid job with lots of leave and like probably pretty secure back then before COVID, that was probably safe.
Yeah.
And you went into like entrepreneurship in an area that you don't know anything about. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So that takes a lot of courage, right? That's what I was talking about in the intro. It's like, yeah, that's very courageous of you. So like, tell us more about that, because that's crazy.
Well, I was thinking that because at the same time I was looking actually at buying an apartment for myself and continue that job and really have this normal life. But then I was thinking, no, life is more than that. And that's also why I said yes. So I left to go to Ireland, and I stayed there for about a year. And when I arrived, I realized how hard entrepreneurship is. Every day felt like a big mountain of things to do and things to learn, and a lot of uncertainty. You don't know if you ever reach that top. And it's just tough. And also the worst part was that I was completely alone. I had my cousin there as support, but basically she didn't have time to be part of the daily operations. She was just taking some decisions sometimes. So so that was really hard. And if I compared that to my daily job at Volvo, where I had 200 colleagues and I knew exactly what to do the whole day, then I thought, okay, how can I solve that this would be a bit easier? I need to find other people who are like me. I need to find other starters, or preferably starters, but a bit more advanced than me. And then I was thinking, maybe I should do this networking thing. I didn't really know what networking was at that time. And then I started looking for different kind of networking events. And I didn't really like the options that I found. I found female-only entrepreneurs, but yeah, the business I was in construction. So I was thinking like, no, I want to see men as well. I found chambers of commerce stuff, but I also felt like, okay, I'm a woman in construction and I'm a bit weird, so this will be too stiff for me. And then I also found these, at this time, the tech startup scene was starting to boom. So there was a lot of these technology guys gathering for beers. But then again, I was like, I'm still a woman in construction. I'm not going to fit there. And then I was living in Cork, which is south of Ireland, and I went to meetup.com, and I found Entrepreneurs Anonymous Dublin. So Dublin is about 300 kilometers away from Cork, so it takes at least 6 hours to go there back and forth.
So the perfect match, just not the right place.
Yes. So Entrepreneurs Anonymous was monthly gatherings in the pub, all kinds of entrepreneurs welcome, and together with a founder story. So I was like, wow, there you can actually learn something and meet cool people. So perfect, but I'm not going to travel 6 hours to attend. But what I did was I called the organizer of that event to ask if he can come to Cork and do the events. And then he told me that, no, I'm not going to do that, but maybe you can do it. And then I thought, no, I don't know anyone here, and I also have no clue how to organize events. And then he said, I will support you. And that's how it all started. So
wow, okay. Yeah, so it really, like, you need those little sparks, right? Like your cousin calling you saying, hey, come over, we'll start a business. And then you reaching out, asking for support, and then someone saying, hey, why don't you do this, right? And so both times it's like you were open to this, but you need, like, there's something that happens, you have to grab the opportunity. And I think, yeah, that's quite unique. So you need to be able to say, all right, let's do this, right? So that's quite scary too. So you kept your job then and you started doing this as well on the side. So how does that work together, and like what came out of this event organization? Like,
so eventually I started missing Belgium. And I also realized that starting a business with a family member is also maybe not the smartest thing to do. You hear all the warnings and the kind advice saying that don't do business with family, but so it didn't. Our business didn't run really well, but it was a learning opportunity, and I knew that, and we had decided for 1 year to give it a try, and then we decided to stop. But during that year, I really found my passion in not running a business myself, but supporting other ones running theirs. So really connecting people, hearing what are people needing, and then connecting them with people who had the solutions. That was really like, I found that so pleasant and rewarding and fun. Plus I think maybe that's a little bit my superpower as well. I remember names, I remember faces, I remember stories, I remember needs and demands and supply. So it's very easy for me to connect.
all right. So that's why your LinkedIn title is Super Connector. I was wondering where that came from.
You cannot give titles to yourself, by the way. You have to receive them from other people. Yeah, and when people tell you that you are something, then you can claim it. Yes. So I have so many people saying that, yeah, you are this super connector. So that's why
all right, awesome.
I dare to have it.
Well, I'm glad we connected.
Yes, me too.
Very cool. So what drives you is connecting people, supporting them, and helping them have an impact, right?
What really drives me is that I would love for more people to love their work.
Yeah, that's super important.
And if I can make that easier and more enjoyable in some way, then I'm happy.
Okay, and so you're doing that today. Like, tell us about what's happening today then, and how you're moving in that direction. So
today I'm doing 3 main things. One is LinkedIn training. So we'll dive more into LinkedIn later, I hope.
Yes, please.
And then I came back to Belgium, and I continued running the Entrepreneurs Anonymous events in Ghent. But while doing that, I also realized that there's an increasing amount of people who doesn't necessarily want to start a business, but they want to live on their own terms. They want to be freelancers. Like I was thinking myself as well, I don't want to have a big business and a lot of responsibility and manage people. I want to be able to be free and be creative and do whatever I want to do from one day to another. And then I got the opportunity to start running the Freelancers in Belgium Facebook group when it had at the ripe age of 250 members. That was about 2 years ago. And I started running it also because of my own needs of finding support in running a business in Belgium, because it's quite complex with all the admin and languages and different markets. So I started running that group, and then it just, blew up. There was so much engagement. There was like constantly new members joining, and it's still happening today.
So what? How many people are there today in the group?
4,500.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and it was 4,000 last time I checked. So that was not very long ago. So it's really exploding. Are you doing anything special there? Like, has anything changed since you took over? How do you explain the success? I mean,
there's a few things that are contributing to the success of the group. One is awesome members, really like super supportive, ambitious, kind, fun freelancers from all kinds of places are just joining to support each other, because everybody knows how hard it is, or how hard it can be, and everybody knows how much it can mean to get that little extra support, that little motivation, inspiration. So that's definitely number one. And I try really to put a lot of effort into selecting the members by asking qualifying questions that they have to answer all the questions. They have to have decent Facebook profiles, and they have to be related to Belgium somehow. They have to be a freelancer or interested in freelancing, and then they have to select what will they get, what will be valuable for them from joining the group. And if they don't answer all those questions, I'm not gonna accept them.
Yeah, so that ensures that people are actually thorough in the answer, and when they join, they join with a purpose, and so obviously then that makes the community very dynamic.
Yes, and then what happens is every week I do a welcome post, and normally there's about 50 to 100 freelancers that join to every week, and I tag them and welcome them, and if they give their introduction, they will get a personal greeting from me. So that's another way to get that initial engagement going. And then what I also do is, instead of talking about myself, I ask questions. Like today I asked when people are getting up in the morning.
Yeah, because this is as a freelancer, you have the choice, right? So you can see what other people are doing, what other people are doing.
So
right.
and this creates this bond and kind of feeling that, okay, we understand each other. And when we understand each other, we trust each other. When we trust each other, then we can do things together as well.
Yeah, so that's the power of trust, right? This is something that's really important. And there are a lot of Facebook groups that are either too commercial, or you see the posts are not very personal, and they're posts from people who just want to get stuff but not help very much.
Yeah.
So you have to create something that is a place where people feel comfortable and basically trust the place.
That's also why I share sometimes very personal stuff. Like I once asked, do I want to get a baby?
That's a very big question.
Like I was saying that, I'm so in love with my work that I would be afraid that a baby would like steal the shine from that. And I got so much response on that one.
Yeah, because that's very deep, right? That's something that I mean, it's super important. I think we could have lots of meetups just on that one question.
Indeed.
Somebody saying get a baby. Yeah, I think I agree. We need more awesome people. So awesome people need to make babies.
Cool. Another thing that I shared last week was, for example, that my computer crashed. Help, what should I buy instead? And there was again a lot of response. So by sharing these really personal experiences related to freelancing, it creates this dynamic that it's okay to ask very personal things. And this again leads to trust and engagement.
Mm-hmm. And so you said you were doing 3 things. So you talked about LinkedIn training. Then we have Freelancers in Belgium, which is a community management.
Yeah. And then I have to, of course, if the group is by freelancers for freelancers, I also have to be a freelancer. I don't count a trainer to be a freelancer. So sometimes I still do marketing consulting, because after organizing probably 300 events during the last 3 years, I learned quite a lot about marketing, digital marketing, copywriting. Getting people to buy stuff is a very good skill to have. So sometimes I do marketing for other companies. So now I have a really cool client in Bruges, a food innovation company that I'm writing their whole marketing strategy for, and soon we're gonna execute it.
Oh, cool. But then I think you don't have a degree in marketing, no? You studied something else. You mentioned learning.
The science of learning, but
Yeah.
it has definitely the same components with the same goal of getting people to do stuff.
Well, that's pretty much all businesses. So I guess it's like a universal type of skill set that you have there. And yeah, let's go more into that. Obviously, like, you know, we're interested in understanding how you make your business work and how that can help others. And so we talked about two things here that are very important. And we'll come back to community, but you train people to use LinkedIn in a certain way. And at the same time, you use LinkedIn yourself for your own business in a certain way. Like, tell us about this, because like LinkedIn is a tool that tends to be underestimated, and we just put our CV up there and then we just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Do you have a different way of using LinkedIn?
Yes. So what happened when I came back to Belgium and I wanted to become a freelancer, my biggest doubt and uncertainty and fear was, I don't want to sell. I really don't want to pick up the phone and try to sell.
That's the worst part of being a freelance entrepreneur, right? You're excited about doing the thing you want to be doing. You're excited about all the technical stuff and learning about how it works. But then how do you get people to pay you for it? I think it's like there's such a massive, like, it's a wall.
I know.
So,
and that's a wall I want to tear down.
All right. So what's the plan? How do we climb? How do we tear down the wall?
So what happened when I became a freelancer, then I also noticed myself being more and more active on LinkedIn. Or like, I was logging into LinkedIn more than Facebook. And then I was thinking, like, what's happening here? What's going on with LinkedIn? And then I started following some LinkedIn gurus who got like hundreds and thousands of views on their posts, and they were saying that Microsoft bought LinkedIn, and since then they are changing the algorithms and the whole user story. And I started following these gurus, and there was like one post from one guy saying that you just have to do stuff. And then I was thinking, how can I become a LinkedIn guru? So what I did was I took also the results of the stuff that I've learned from the science of learning. There is I don't remember his name now, but he says learning by doing. That's like the way to go. So I decided to do a LinkedIn challenge. I posted a post on LinkedIn every day for 30 days, and then I published a report on that. And based on that, based on that report, then I started to get requests to do workshops and to do more of that. And that really sparked me to go further with that and really start a little business around doing LinkedIn training. I think you're on mute. At least I don't hear you.
Yes. How's that?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. I was going to say, wow. That's what I was saying. So wait, so you were not a LinkedIn expert, but then you did LinkedIn intensively for a while, and then you were that person that people.
Yeah, you can only be an expert if you do it.
Right, and that's what happened with the marketing as well, right? You did marketing like crazy for 3 years on a separate topic, and then you took the skills and you applied to a different thing.
Yeah.
I think, we're starting to see the different aspects of the formula that we talked about in the title of this talk, which is credibility times visibility equals profitability. And I think we're building the blocks there.
Yes.
Both, right?
Yeah, at the same time.
So tell us maybe about that formula and what that means and how you use it.
Yeah. So the first year as a freelancer, what I wanted to do was to focus on testing things. I don't know if you know the Ikigai. I can maybe write it in the chat.
Yes, big fan. I have a blog post on that.
Good. Maybe you can link to it. It's called Ikigai, and it's a graph basically where you have to find a sweet spot for what people are willing to pay for, what you're good at, what you enjoy, and what's the fourth one?
What the world needs.
What the world needs. And I was thinking like, okay, I'm just gonna spend this first year as a freelancer. I'm not gonna focus too much on earning money, but I'm just gonna focus to find what works. So to lead me closer to that sweet spot. So I was doing things like, I organized a cowboy party for a co-working space. I was doing social media marketing for tech conferences. I was organizing tequila tasting. So I was doing quite a lot of stuff around events. And then I realized that the event logistics is not really my thing. I'm okay at it, but I don't really enjoy it. What I really enjoy is the connecting. And that's also a bit how I found LinkedIn. I was like, this is a brilliant place where I can connect people and I don't have to leave my seat.
Yeah.
So then I started focusing instead of hosting other people's events, I started creating these concepts of events where I could connect people. So for example, I did with the incubator IMEC iStart, a Find a Co-founder event. So I used the network that I had built to create a product where I could solve people's needs. Because co-founders, they have specific needs when they want to start a business. They need to find that right person. And it's quite a beautiful match if you can do that, if you can enable that. So I started focusing on doing more of that and also doing more and more stuff around the freelance community. So, and that's becoming a business in itself as well. And I also knew that by increasing visibility, you can achieve more. So that was also something that I wanted to focus more on. So I tried to get speaking engagements whenever I could. Yeah. Now I don't try to get them anymore. They just come.
Yes, it's true. You didn't ask me this. I was the one asking.
And also what I was doing, I was doing the Entrepreneurs Anonymous events, and I always try to take like the back seat and be invisible. But then I realized that's a bad approach. It's better to be known to get ahead of things. So I also went ahead to go and take a public speaking course with Toastmasters, and yeah, try to be more and more on stage because that creates impact.
Wow, but that takes confidence too. Right? It's another level of confidence you need to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Impressive. So visibility, and I think you've been doing that all along, right? I mean, connecting on LinkedIn, doing all of these events, trying a lot of different things until something clicks. So, and then being, a speaker, being engaged, being known. So that's visibility. Like more concretely for the people who are listening to us or watching us, what can they do? What are simple things they can do to get visibility? Because obviously becoming a speaker is not something that they can get into overnight. Organizing events, yes, but it takes a lot of effort too. Are there ways to get visibility that are easier and maybe more people can use?
You can help event organizers.
Mm-hmm.
What I did first, how I got connected with those tech conferences, was I volunteered at tech conferences. And then when I started as a freelancer, I just asked, hey, do you need any help, like paid help? And that's how I got involved with quite big, like I worked for more than a year with Growth Marketing Conference in San Francisco, who have like the best marketing speakers on the planet at their events. And I was connected with them. So that's one thing. like volunteer at
Volunteer but for
events.
paid work. So that's a smart
First you volunteer just to get friendly with people and to build that network and show your credibility, that you are trusted and you're able to do what you claim that you can do. And then when they need somebody, they will not even put that vacancy in the market, they will contact you.
Mm-hmm. But then isn't it that they're going to expect you to be volunteering your time again?
No.
Okay. Because then that's this is where we come to the selling part, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, hey, I'll come and help for free. It's a very different thing saying, hey, do you need paid help?
Yeah. Well, there you have to take a little leap of confidence, and you just have to ask for it. You will say, I can help you with this event for free, but if you have paid opportunities, I would love to hear about them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice way of doing it.
Or saying that, look, I would love to help, but I can't afford my rent, so I need to get paid. Do you have something paid for me? Then it's like
yeah, that's a nice.
But it's also when you have a relationship like that with somebody, and you like the person that you have volunteered for, it's relatively easy to just ask for it, and they will be so happy to help.
Yeah, especially if it's a money-making event or opportunity, right?
Yes.
And if you can add value, then they'll make more money, and hence they should be able to pay you. This whole makes sense.
And what you can also do is when you're volunteering at events, you can build your network very easily. Plus, you can get quite some cool brands to put on your CV and on your LinkedIn profile. So.
Yeah, for sure. And that helps with credibility, which is the other part of all this. Now, in terms of visibility, so this is very much visibility in times of no COVID.
Yes.
Are there ways to do this without having to be in person somewhere? And
well, if I would be starting now, I would definitely start doing online stuff like this, like you're doing now. What I also did a lot with Entrepreneurs Anonymous was I invited speakers that could be potential clients. And then I invited them to do a presentation, because it's much easier to get your foot in when they are asked to be a speaker, because everybody loves to be asked to be a speaker. And then you develop a relationship, and then you can see like, hey, what are your current challenges in your business? And then you can see either if you can help them or if you can connect them with somebody that can help them.
That's brilliant. That's a bit of what I'm doing here. Not that I'm seeing you as my client, but
you never know. You never know.
There's a bit of visibility building, credibility building, and connecting with the right people.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing people I'm interested because they're from the field I'm in, and it might lead to something later. But I haven't been as strategic as you, I guess. But that's something I could think about. Yeah, a good trick. So do you need to have a show for that to be possible? Like, ask someone to come and speak. You kind of still have to organize something, right?
Yeah, you would have to organize either online events, but you can also do it with content, like even a blog post, or let's say what I could start doing is create a weekly LinkedIn post or monthly article where I feature people and then ask them to contribute with their stuff. Yeah. And it's immediate goodwill.
It's easier than, say, an online thing like this. We have to invite people and all this. Right. And that's something that people can probably start on their own without having to be the expert, because LinkedIn is already a good publishing platform. There's already an audience that knows you. And so when you start putting content, so wait, we're talking about LinkedIn now. Okay. So
I love LinkedIn.
Visibility. Let's talk about LinkedIn and credibility. Like what do you do, and what can we do to be better at it?
There's 4 steps to it. First, you need to have a goal. You need to have some kind of strategy behind what is it that you want to achieve with LinkedIn.
Let's say it's just make more money. Let's say you have a job, and you need to increase credibility and visibility, because then it makes you someone that's wanted. I would say that's like the main. That is something that a lot of people will resonate with, and it applies both to freelancers and employees, right? It's just
okay, so if I pretend that I'm an employee and I want to get the next promotion, what I would do is I would connect the hell out of everyone I get in contact with. I would make sure that I follow my immediate bosses and CEOs with an eagle eye, and that I really put myself on their radar, because usually, especially in corporates, CEOs and executives, they kind of have to have an online presence. So if you can help spreading them and their posts and making them look good, that's definitely one thing. And also to help your company look good, because companies are always struggling to get visibility. So if you can add visibility, I know, for example, ING has this customer service person who is posting on LinkedIn probably 3 times a day. I think that's a bit too much. And he has like 200,000 followers or something. And he's a customer service rep.
Okay.
So that's
definitely...
so
his network basically made him the perfect candidate for that position as well, right?
Yeah. So imagine when they start talking about, we need to hire somebody, or we need somebody to do this, you need to be that first person that they think of.
Mm-hmm.
And LinkedIn is definitely a way that you can do that.
Yeah, especially in those times where there's no in-person meetings, and it's easy to interact with executives in the company, because you can comment, ask questions directly on the things they're posting, and then offer to help, as you said. And so you can
or you can praise your company and say that, oh, this was such a fantastic thing that you did, and blah blah blah.
Only if it's true.
Only if it's true, of course. but it kind of it works normally, because if you wouldn't like where you are, you wouldn't want to have a promotion there.
Yeah. Unless you want to change things, but no, okay, I agree with you. Okay, and so, all right, so this is for the employees, like something for freelancers, because obviously that's not what you do. You don't go to your CEO and try to.
Yeah, I don't need that. I'm my own
true,
CEO.
but in the end, it's sort of like your CEO is kind of your client when you're an employee.
True.
Right? Ultimate client, but as a freelancer, everyone is. You have other clients. So how do you deal with that?
So I have a whole strategy of who I should get connected with. So it's not only potential clients, it can be also peers. So a lot of freelancers, for example. There's media people, because media people are always handy to know. Investors, all kinds of like experts in their fields. Event organizers, because they are super connectors usually. Especially if they are like community organizers and event directors, who are CEOs of their conferences. They are also super connected. So I try to get connected with super connectors, because they are good people and they have valuable networks.
And when you say you try to get connected, what is that? Is it like you ask for an introduction from someone, or you connect to them right away, you write the message, or?
It can be just like a comment on one of their posts saying that this looks fantastic, like whatever you're doing, and then start the engagement from there. I got my first freelance assignment because I was a volunteer at a SaaS event in Dublin, and I noticed a post on LinkedIn from the CEO of SaaStock, and he was saying that tomorrow is D-Day, I'm nervous. And then I wrote to him in a private message that if you're nervous, that's just a sign that you're doing something important. It's gonna go great. Let me know if I can help in any way. And then he just sent me a link to the like, we still need a couple of volunteers. So if you have time, join. And then I volunteered there, and then I was definitely on his radar.
Wow. Yeah. So wait, because direct messages are not always allowed unless you're connected. Isn't that right?
Yes.
So you were already connected somehow?
Yeah, I think it was just like, hey, I'm interested in SaaS kind of thing.
Yeah, plus if he has a business and he has a presence on LinkedIn, he's interested in connecting with other people. So I guess there's a way, like it's difficult. I guess, if these people are people who are trying to grow their audience, then they'll connect and they'll accept connection requests, and then it's just a matter of actually building that relationship. But if it's just normal people or people who are protecting their privacy and their LinkedIn profile, it might not be so easy. So there's these two kinds of people on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah. So I try to connect with the people who are open and friendly and supportive, and the ones that are not I don't think I'm going to have good interactions with them anyway.
Yeah, or it's just to have a different policy for their
Yeah.
profile. But yeah, so there's different kinds of responses to, say, open invitation to connect. All right, so you were saying this is a multi-step approach. We talked about objectives. I think we got derailed a bit. But so what is the approach? What's the strategy?
Okay, so then you have the strategy, then you have to get connected with the right people. So
Yes,
when I started out,
second step, right?
yeah, so when I started out as a freelancer, my strategy was to help tech startup founders get more visibility, mainly through social media. So what I did was I just asked to go for coffees with tech startup founders. I was like, I just want to come and learn from you and see what are your challenges.
All right.
And most were very
that works?
open. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got so many meetings from that, and then I eventually got assignments through that.
Wow. Okay, so it's just a matter of being friendly and suggesting something that's easy for them to say yes.
Yeah, and also position them as experts and doing something cool.
Okay.
Because flattery always works.
Yes, as long as it's true.
Yes. That was something else I also decided quite early on after a few bad experiences, like I only want to work with nice people.
Yeah, that's super important.
People doing cool stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got first the goals, the strategy, 2, connect with the right people. 3, is it to actually get to know them in person? Is that the third step, or what?
That's to actually first you have to figure out who is it that you want to connect with, and then you have to actually connect with them.
Yeah.
So that's the relationship building part.
Yes. Okay, and then
it's the stay on the radar strategy to.
Right. Okay, so now I'm seeing where we're going.
Yeah.
I was like, when do we make
yeah. Yeah.
All right. So that's how you basically build real life connection with people, through basically by targeting them, and then you develop the relationship. And then, so when does the sale come, and what happens? How do you get the sale without selling?
So for example, by engaging with people in my posts. So I post on LinkedIn every working day, 1 post a day. And it can be simple questions like the baby question, not a very simple question, but it can be questions like the baby question. This creates trust. And this creates this kind of like, what is this girl doing? It creates visibility, it creates attention. Plus I also learn from that. So it's really true and neat questions that I'm asking. It can also be just a picture of, yesterday I posted what I'm doing in September. So that's a perfect example of a selling post, because that post was full with links to event tickets.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
So then through that, I sell a few tickets.
Which we will be posting in the comments and in the description of this video as well. Okay. Yeah, so that's posting daily increases visibility. We've talked a lot about visibility. How about credibility? Is that through, like we talked about a bit this. I was wondering if there were easy things that people can do right away to build credibility.
Right away is a bit difficult, but you can also build a strategy towards that. Try to work with famous brands.
Yeah.
Because that creates trust. Mm-hmm. Other things that create trust is in-person meetings, or at least video calls. So try to have conversations with people and try to connect with them and try to stay on their radar. So try to have, there's this one LinkedIn trend question. So at least once a year, you will for sure think about McAdam.
Yeah, sorry, I lost you there. I think, could you repeat what you just said now? Because I don't think it got recorded either.
Okay, that you have to make sure that you're connected with your with your connections,
Yeah.
and that you stay on their radar. So there's a LinkedIn trainer called Mick Adam.
Yeah.
He has probably like 12,000 connections or something, and he congratulates everyone's birthday personally. So at least once a year you think about him.
12,000 people, and he does this. All right, that's a lot of personal messages.
Yeah. But it's not like just happy birthday. It's like, happy birthday, what was your favorite memory this year?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of work. Unless it's the same message everywhere and you can put a bot or something, a chat bot to do it.
But then
it's still very personal.
It's very personal. Plus, it creates this nice feeling towards him, because I connect my favorite moment with him somehow.
Wow. Do you have like a list of the best people to connect to on LinkedIn so that you get to learn from them?
I can make a
post. Is that part of your next post or course?
Yeah. What I can do is I can post about that. I will post about this event tomorrow anyway, so I will add there some people.
All right. So everybody just connect with Jenny to get all the tips.
Yes. Look, right. watch my post tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I can tag it with fire.
Yes, please. Fire. Cool. Well, look, thanks for sharing this. This is super useful. And what I'm hoping is that anyone watching this or listening to this is inspired to take action, use LinkedIn in some ways to connect and create real relationships that will lead to more business or promotions. That's really important. Now, we also talk about something else in the title of this event, and we talked about how you made double your income. You doubled your income in 6 months. Can you tell us a bit about that? You don't have to go into the personal details of like the numbers and all this, but so what happened and what can you share with us that can help others?
All right. So what happened was that my first year, I focused on building credibility and visibility. I didn't focus too much on making money. So I didn't earn that much money last year. But when taking the lessons learned and focusing on what paid well, what I enjoyed, what was easy, then it started to roll. Plus, when I had more credibility, my sales, people just ask like, hey, can you do this? They don't question me anymore. I don't have to convince people. They just like come and say, do this for me now. And they trust that I will be able to deliver. And also with the visibility, that went so well that now I'm actually getting paid to do promotions, and I'm getting paid to get sponsorships. So that's also a way to leverage. Yeah, you build and build and build, and then you enjoy the ripe fruit.
Right. So this is really the fruit of the work that you put in the past few years.
Yeah.
Building your brand, visibility and credibility, and now people are coming to you for business and work and actually paying you for sponsorship. So is that you're promoting their events or products or services?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yes.
I'm interested in that part because we haven't spoken about this.
Yes. So especially with the freelance community, it's a very big balancing board to not exploit the community members, but instead provide value. So I try to find partnerships where we can create this win-win situation, that we have cool products that can actually help freelancers move forward, and have these companies get more visibility and have a great marketing channel.
Very,
and they are willing to pay for that.
Yeah, very, very cool. I'm thinking about this for the financial independence community now, but I think it's a little bit different because, obviously you're in an area of business where people are making money, but they need specific tools and things to actually be able to function and do better, and training and all this. Whereas on the financial independence community, it's all about saving more money and then learning to do everything yourself, because then you have control. So it's an interesting question for me and for the community. So everyone in the financial independence community, if you think there's products or services or things that can help you and that we could maybe get better deals if we go to it as a group, maybe that's something I can work on. And anyway, open to suggestions here for sure. But so thanks for the tip, because that's quite interesting. What else? What else? What else? We talked about so many things already. So many really useful tips and tricks here. We also talked a bit about how you got started, and you did say that it wasn't easy. And when we talked before this conversation, you talked about the doubts and uncertainty around basically starting on your own and doing something like that. Can you tell us more about this? Because it's like it's something that it's big for me, and so I'm interested in like how that was for you and what sort of advice you have for people who are thinking about taking jumping in the self-employed
Well,
world.
my first advice would be not to jump.
Yeah, good advice.
Yes.
So what do we do instead?
Instead have at least a backup plan so that you can go back to the base in case you need it, so that you have like that backup for yourself. That is a way to decrease your worries, because you know that, okay, if this doesn't work out, at least I can go back to work, or I still will have my house, or I will still have my family, or whatever makes you feel home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. So for example, I quit Volvo, but I also knew I would be able to start over again if needed. Then I'm also very driven by no regrets. I believe time is more valuable than money. Money you can get more of in an infinity, but time is limited. So for me, it's much more important to live an exciting life than to live a boring but stable life.
Yeah, it's about being able to do what you love and in the way you want. Right? I guess in the end, freelance is a bit of a life hack for people who are trying to reach financial independence. Yes. So it's interesting because we are two very different communities, but I think there's a lot in common in terms of what we are seeking, indeed, which is fulfillment, happiness, and freedom. Right.
Yeah. And I'm thinking also for if you're an employee, then your destiny is in somebody else's hands, that you can be fired from one day to another. As a freelancer, you're much more agile and in control of your situation. And also for the income, I could see like at Volvo, my income would like have a slight little like upward curve. As a freelancer, it sucked at the start, but now I can earn as much money as I want, basically.
That's pretty cool. All right. So that's interesting, for anyone who's aiming for financial independence or building financial freedom and security so that they can do more things they love and things that matter to them. I think so what we talk about a lot in our community is taking control of your finances, because if you control your finances, then you can build security, and then from there start bringing happiness in your life in a better way. Now with freelancing, you take this to the whole new level. Is obviously there's an element of risk because you have to get started and might not work, right? For whatever reason, maybe it takes longer because you need to adjust your strategy. But much faster you get to bring this flexibility into your life, because you can design your life around your needs, and you actually have to ask the question, what matters most to me today, right? Because you're faced with that question. It's not like you have the excuse of, well, I have to go to work. No, you can, but you don't have to. You kind of have to ask the question. So I find like it's interesting. I wonder if I would have probably benefited from doing some sort of a self-employed work earlier in my life, because I think I would have learned to face those tough questions earlier, right? As an employee, I didn't really I had to ask some questions, right? And there was some big questions, right? Moving countries and changing jobs, these are big questions, but you don't have the day-to-day exercise of having to say, well, this is what I need to do now because this is what's important. And that could be either work or not work, right? Whereas, and as a freelancer, it's like the whole responsibility is on you to actually make things work. And basically you are in full control of your life. You're responsible for it 100%. And I think that's what, as in the financial independence community, that's what people want. They want to have that flexibility and the time to do what they want in the way they want. And not everybody wants to retire. That's not what we want. What we want is to be able to make choices based on something else than just having to work for someone else forever. So yeah, that could be like an interesting hack for some of the people in our community who are maybe employed and not happy with it. And maybe financial independence is not the thing they should be aiming for, but maybe it's more about designing a lifestyle such as freelancers lifestyle where there's more freedom to do things like that.
Absolutely.
But that, I mean, it comes with this massive set of challenges, right? Because it's taking a lot of risk. And sometimes if you have a mortgage and kids and all this, you might not be in a position to do that. But that's when financial security is the key, right? You build cash, you learn how to save, you learn how to invest, you have, emergency fund plus some cash. We call it FU money. And that gives you the power. We call it the financial, there was a specific word for this. Anyway, you have time to actually get started on something. And as you said, if it doesn't work, you can always come back, right? But yeah, so there's a lot of synergies here that are super important. Let's talk a bit more about freelancers in Belgium. So you're building this community and you're organizing events there too?
Yes. So we have
what sort of events?
We have 4 upcoming events called Freelance Forward events in 18th of September. We'll have the start as a freelancer, and that's going to be really about accounting basics, about dealing with uncertainty, about finding those first clients and doing the sales and getting that VAT number and stuff like that. And then
so that's something not to miss if you're interested in freelancing.
Starting, yes.
Yeah, look,
then you should definitely
I need to release this video before that date, so that gives me some pressure to actually do work faster. Good.
Cool. And then in October we'll have sales and marketing, because I see that's the biggest culprit of being a freelancer, is that it's not enough to just be an expert. You also need to get those clients. So I've selected quite a cool lineup of speakers to give their best advice on that. And then we have the money event where you yourself will be speaking. You will give tips about financial independence. And then we also have tax optimization and price setting. And in December, there will be the next level event for freelancers who are doing well already and they just want to take the next step and grow their business or work less.
Wow. Okay. So this is one a month for the next 4 months.
Yes.
What else is happening with freelancers in Belgium and Freelance Forward? Because I understand there's 2 things then.
Yes. So the freelancers in Belgium is the Facebook groups. We have now 8 sub-communities. So we have sub-communities like HR, IT, marketing, admin. We have legal and students coming up. So we got agreed today that students will start.
Wow, cool.
And what else is happening? We're going to work towards companies as well to create more awareness around how good it is to hire freelancers, because we see that there's some education needed there. And we are also next year planning to start our own platform. So not to be too much on, we'll continue with Facebook, but the ones who want even more can join the Freelancers Forward platform.
Cool. Okay. So that would be a place where we can just go deeper than just Facebook.
Yes, where there's really matchmaking, where there's networking, where there's really programs on how to be the ultimate freelancer. Awesome.
All right. So it's like a little academy for freelancers.
Yes.
And more than that even.
Yeah.
And like, so what are your long-term goals? Like, so you've been doing all this, I'm sure you think about the future and where this is going. Where do you see this going in the next few years? So that would be one part of the question, but I'm going to also ask you what do you want to achieve in, say, like longer term, maybe 10, 20 years?
Whoa. I'm so happy now. I don't see 10 to 20 years, but I just bought a cabin in Finland.
Okay.
So I hope to get to spend more time there doing silly things like growing potatoes.
Okay, yeah, well, that's awesome. Gardening is one of the best ways to maintain health and longevity.
Good. So
It's also part of the Japanese Ikigai story,
yeah.
part of all
Okay.
this. Yeah.
And it would be cool to have an apartment here and there to travel to when needed. But mostly I just want to inspire more people to do work that they love.
So that would be taking freelance forward and freelancers in Belgium to some sort of next level. Do you have
Yeah.
some ideas of where that could be?
We already are in discussions to go international.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really big.
Yes.
What does that look like? You talking to groups in other countries or?
Yeah. Imagine, for example, freelancers in Finland.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. All right. Does that
Yeah.
exist already, or is it something you're starting? Or?
We're considering starting it.
Very
and I'm also in contact with a Forbes writer and freelance or agile talent researcher, and he's creating a global hub for freelance community supporters. So I'm hoping also to get inspiration there to be part of that movement.
Cool. Right. So you're looking at this like global. That's
sort
of where you go.
Yeah, especially now with COVID, I think that the borders are not so relevant anymore. We can do
for some things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for sure for freelance work, especially if you do it online, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty big. Okay, very cool. Very cool. And from a personal finance perspective, what's your plan? Because obviously, we're in a personal finance group and we talk about investing and financial independence. What does that all mean for you? What are your plans there?
Well, on a short term, I want to optimize my freelance business activities even more. Probably also start to hire people to help to scale. On a long-term basis, yeah, it would be nice to have a little bit of real estate, but for the rest, I'm not that ambitious. So I feel like I can already do what I want to do.
Yeah, and you were telling me about impact and how that was maybe the main thing. And so financial independence, it's kind of something that a lot of people seek for to gain ultimate security and freedom. But sometimes if you're happy in what you're doing and typically have an impact is something very fulfilling, then it might not be a relevant goal. So would that say that's your case or?
Well, I'm also thinking like the less I have to worry about money, the more I can worry about increasing that impact.
Yes. And so for that, all of the concepts in in financial independence are pretty useful.
Yeah.
That's my main goal too, right? I'm not talking about money to help people get rich and quit. I'm talking about money so that people can have freedom to make better choices and make the world a better place around them. It's all about
Sounds beautiful
for me too. So my strategy is to talk about money so that people come and listen, and then I'll talk about impact when I have an audience. That's my strategy, my little secret strategy. Cool. So where can, thanks for sharing all of this. And if people want to know more from what you do and find out about the trainings you provide, etc., where can they find you? What's the best place for them to connect?
It's obvious, no? LinkedIn.
Yes, I think it is. Right. So we'll send everyone to LinkedIn.
Yes. So my personal LinkedIn profile, and if freelancing is interesting, then join one of the freelancers in Belgium groups.
Yeah. Okay.
And follow us on social media and engage with us. We love comments. We love questions.
And get your tickets for the upcoming events, because I think that will be really cool. I'm attending, by the way, if anyone is interested. Cool. Do you have any final thoughts on, what's the one thing you want people to remember from this conversation?
I think the importance of network. Like, even if you don't feel like you need a network, just network now. That's like, if I have one regret, that's it. Mm-hmm. So start building relationships with people. Having a network is like having a big box of money lying around. It's like it's security. It makes things go much faster if you want to do something, to have the right people helping you. As you could hear in my story as well, I would not be here without a lot of people helping me getting here.
Yeah, that's really powerful. I think I've underestimated the power of networks as well. This is a good reminder.
Yes. And like, if you want to have a small action of achieving things, just ask. tell people about your dreams, and it will just happen.
So what do you mean? So once you have a network, you can basically ask for help and things will happen?
So for example, if I would, I have the story of my cabin, for example. I have my bucket list is on my toilet door. And on my bucket list, there is own a cottage in Finland. And my brother was visiting from Finland, and he saw the bucket list and he said, what if we would buy that cabin together? Yeah. And that solved my problems of having to be away from family, because if I have a cabin, then I also want to be with my family, and it was a lot less expensive if you share the costs.
Yeah, so it's about making sure other people know what you're trying to achieve.
Yes.
And what you can offer in terms of work as well. And so
share your dreams and don't hesitate asking people for help.
Wow, that's very cool. I'm glad this has worked out so well already. I'm sure there will be more. So in terms of, like, we talked about very actionable things that people can do, and already on LinkedIn. Is there something like particular that you would like to highlight as something that you think like maybe everyone should do, whether they're employee or freelance, or maybe they're different things, but like, what is the one thing you want people to actually, you think people should be doing more and maybe it's not been done enough?
Connect with people and give them a lot of attention. People don't get enough attention, and they love attention. And when you get attention, you will create this nice bond. Cool.
Wow. Yes, I think this sort of wraps nicely around everything we've talked about. Thanks again for sharing your story. I think what we'll do is we'll open the floor to questions. So everyone who is in the call, please feel free to turn on your camera and start by saying thank you to Jenny for sharing this story and sharing her tips, and then please ask your question. And the one rule I have is, if you want to ask a question, you have to turn on your camera and your microphone, otherwise we won't hear you.
I might have a small request. I would like to take a screenshot so that I have some cool picture for tomorrow.
All right, so everyone turn on your camera, because otherwise you're gonna have just names.
Ooh, we have some dark cameras here as well.
Yeah, some people watching from the night. All right.
Let's see who's still paying attention.
Yeah, maybe we've lost some people on the way. Guys, if you're here, please turn on your camera. We'll take a snapshot. You can turn it off afterwards if you don't want to be seen.
Cool. I'll give it 10 more seconds.
Yeah, sometimes you connect and then you're doing something else at the same time, and something happens and then you're not really there at the right time for the picture. I've had a few of those.
Cool.
So you're taking the snapshot? I'd like to use it too once you have it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So maybe if you all can wave.
Yeah.
Let's see. Print screen. Where is it? Yeah.
You have to smile at the same time.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I'll tag you tomorrow on LinkedIn. You had your cameras on.
I'll have my visibility tomorrow. Cool. So everyone, please, this is a good time to ask questions. I mean, Jenny has experience helping people get better business through LinkedIn and other things. She's a freelance expert. She has experience helping people getting started in that field, and she's great at connecting people. So if you think there's someone, if you're looking to connect with some people in particular, that might be a good place, a good time to ask. Just turn on your mics and say something.
If you have questions.
Yeah.
Hello.
I have a question. Do you have specific tools you like to use, like for automation or keep your lists, or anything you use?
I don't really have tools, but I use some hacks. For example, I use LinkedIn messages, because you cannot tag people in your network anymore. So I try to have a personal message with everyone that I'm connected with, so that I can find back the context where we met. So for example, if I met you here at this event tonight and we get connected, we should definitely put somewhere that we met at this event, then I can remember. So that's, for example, one thing.
So is that when you connect with someone, you will write a little message and say, hey, it was great meeting you yesterday at this time. And so it's there, and you know where that connection comes from.
Indeed.
Cool.
So that's one thing. Why did you ask that question?
No, just there are tools like on LinkedIn. You have like a duck soup, for example.
Yeah, no, those tools I don't
Yeah.
use because if LinkedIn finds out about it, then I get banned, and I think that would be like losing my both hands. So I don't
Right.
want to risk that.
No. Okay, so it's all authentic, looking for yourself and connecting individually. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time, but I think in the long term, it's super important. It helps you achieve a lot more. So yeah, it's quite a commitment, right?
It's a commitment, but it's also, yeah, for me, it feels nicer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to treat people like numbers, or yeah. Everybody has a story, and it's nicer to work if you can actually experience something cool together.
Cool.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was wondering if you could give one tip, a very low effort, high benefit that someone could do on LinkedIn. What would it be?
The heading is very important. So the thing that comes under your name. So make sure that it's attractive, so that people are actually enticed to click on your profile to see more, and also to be optimized for search, so that if people are looking for whatever it is that you're offering, then that it's very clear that you do.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have some ideas for more conversation if there's no more questions, but
hi, Jenny. I have one question. Sorry.
Please, everyone,
I'm
please
just
ask questions. Go ahead. Sorry, Anton.
Yeah. No worries. Would you have an advice for reactivating or recontacting a very old contact on LinkedIn? So, you know, some contacted someone and it might have passed a long time before you think you might need something from him, but sometimes it feels a bit forced, strange to start a conversation with someone that was, I don't know, 10 years ago, I'm exaggerating, and you never spoke to him meanwhile. But now you need him.
Yeah, treat it as a curiosity thing, and like just see what are they doing now, and what are their dreams and challenges at this moment, and take it from there. I have actually, but that's why it's also good to network when you don't need it, because then you don't have this awkward situation. So what I do, I have two things that I do. One thing is I have a 5-year diary. So I write like a small paragraph every day on the people that I meet, the stuff that I do. And then I can look back at 1 year, like what did I do? And then I can say, for example, 1 year ago, I had a coffee with Verle. And then I can go back to Verle and say, do you remember we had coffee? We met live last year. And that will create this feeling. Another thing that I do is I take my accounting, like during Christmas when there's nothing else to do, I take my accounting and I look at my customer lists and I connect with all my customers. I wish them Merry Christmas or Happy New Year and check how they're doing.
Yeah, so you don't let so much time pass without any contact.
Yeah. Plus, I also have the daily LinkedIn posts where people are reacting. And because I have those daily LinkedIn posts, LinkedIn wants to reward for me for my activity and for my engaging, that people stay engaged on their platform, so that it spreads to more people. And that is also a way to stay on top of mind of people.
Yeah, it's also what you were saying, create content. And
yeah. I see here that I have a question from Elias saying, does your cabin have a sauna? Yes, of course. I even have a lake.
I leave the room for
in the cabin.
Very much.
Yeah.
you have a lake in the cabin. That's a big cabin.
Well, it's a lake outside of the cabin.
That's awesome. Cool. I have a question as well related to this. Like obviously, Do you have a mailing list and are you trying to build it actively, or is your LinkedIn the place that you're building?
Well, since I have 3 activities, I have my personal LinkedIn, then sometimes I'm a freelance ambassador on my LinkedIn, sometimes I'm a LinkedIn expert on my LinkedIn, sometimes I'm just a freelancer or marketing consultant or something like that. But I am actively building an email list for the freelancers in Belgium community, and we're actually starting the Freelance Forward newsletter. It's going to launch in 1 month, where the aim for us is to create the best freelance newsletter in the world. Like one newsletter that you're actually looking forward to receive in your inbox. That's the mission.
Cool. Yeah, that's very good. Because I'm asking because I am also doing that. I mean, these events is one way of asking people for their email address, so that I can remind them of upcoming events, and basically try to engage the community and like give people the option not to miss the next thing that's coming, right? The next meetup or whatever.
Yeah. I would like to ask the audience a question. Would you mind putting in the chat what was like the biggest takeaway that you got from this session? I would love to get that feedback. The ones who are still here.
I'm not sure Wouter is going to respond to this.
Water is away from keyboard. Connect with super connectors. Yep. Yeah, that's a good hack. The power of networking. Nice. Saying yes to opportunities. Yeah. Cool. I didn't even aim to be authentic.
You almost have no choice now in this setting.
Yeah. The idea of inviting potential clients as speakers and charming them. Yep. Finding more ways to improve my LinkedIn profile. Yeah, I have workshops for that.
Yes, we link to it as well.
Yeah.
I don't hear Sebastian anymore.
Yeah. There's something going on with my mic. Is it really bad? Is it gone?
No, it's okay.
Maybe the problem is in my side.
Second takeaway, tell people about your dreams. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, Besta is saying that she missed some of the conversation, but yeah, this is recorded. We will cut it like somewhere before now for sure, and we'll post that. It will be on YouTube in like a couple of, anyway, between 1 and 3 weeks from now.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing your takeaways. Oh, my favorite quotes. I have so many. One is if you will achieve what you want if you help other people achieve what they want to achieve. That's from Zig Ziglar. He's I think by now dead sales guru. Then you have also from Dalai Lama, if you talk, you only repeat what you know, but if you listen, you might actually learn something new. And then also my own one, having a network is like having a big bag of gold with you.
I love that one.
Cool. I will add you to my bag, please.
Yeah, Veiler has Patrick has a big network as well. I interviewed him a few months ago.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a financial expert.
Yes, nice. I can need that too, so I'll put you in my bag as well. Yeah, and if there's anything I can help with, then just feel free to reach out.
Are there more questions, guys? Like, because we have half hour. If there are more questions, this is a good time. Anything, Anything really, don't worry. And then if there's no questions, I have an idea. And someone is asking about pricing. All right, Urban, you want to ask the question?
How to price your hours? Well, don't price hours for the first. At least price per project. Price more than you think that it's okay. And that's basically it.
So you have to put a price with which you are actually uncomfortable?
Yeah, and always by every assignment, increase your price.
Sorry, what?
Because after each assignment, increase your price for the next one. Because you're worth more. You have built more experience, you have a bigger network.
So that works. That works with your strategy of visibility and credibility, right?
Yeah. What if you get into a plateau? Then you have to start outsourcing. I think I'm getting there at this moment. So I have to start choosing which business of these 3 businesses is it that I want to start focusing on and optimizing. How much is not knowing Dutch, French a hindrance in Belgium? I've used it to my advantage. So I speak Dutch quite okay by now, but before I did all my events in English to also attract the foreigners to join, because there's not much going on for foreigners in Belgium, especially not in Flanders. And this also attracted a lot of cool Belgians to join. And people always remember the weird Finnish chick.
With the complicated name that nobody wants to pronounce.
Yes.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Björklöf.
See, I'm glad I didn't try.
And when people remember you, you have advantage.
Yes, for sure. So you have to be memorable.
Yes. So for example, I've also used the fact that I'm a woman in a man's world a lot. And I'm not ashamed of it.
And you hold the coffee cup on your profile on LinkedIn.
Yes.
So that helps people remember.
Yes.
Like I noticed and I remember. Very clear.
Mm-hmm. We have another question. How do you stay in close connection with people and your network and maintain quality when you're quickly getting more and more quantity? That is that's becoming a challenge, but thanks to, for example, the sub-communities of freelancers in Belgium being run by other community managers, it kind of becomes this network that I'm in contact with the freelancers in their groups through the community managers to see what's going on. So yes, it's not personal, it's not as warm, but at least there is a connection.
So on LinkedIn, as your connection scale up, is that like that's not something you can easily delegate, no, or split?
No. So that's indeed a problem, but I just do the best I can with what I have.
Right, that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. As always, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you join the Financial Independence Belgium Facebook group or the meetup page. And you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn, so you can follow us there. Feel free to ask us questions and let us know what other topics you would like us to cover. Also, be sure to join the groups, because we are having regular community meetups, which are not recorded, not shared on YouTube, but they're just a cool place where people can gather and talk about personal financial questions in a very confidential way, because these are not recorded and it's only for the people who attend. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Cheers.